and welcome to Bullpen Banter, a brand new podcast presented by Cold Club Sports Media. I'm Antonio Sacca, joined by my co-host Justyn Martinko and the NCBA guru himself, Eric Curator. We
Guru himself. Wow. Okay. What's up, guys? I like
okay.
the introduction there.
So this is kind of taking over what we did for Sweet 301. So for those that have watched Sweet 301 in the past, it was a long podcast where we had not podcast, but webcast where we had many different things go on. This is kind of just taking its spot instead of having multiple ones. So to start, we're going to go talk about the NCBA throughout this whole thing. But the first thing that we want to talk about is our series showcase that just happened this past weekend between Temple and Westchester.
Mhm.
Westchester actually swept that series showcase by the score of 9-4, 7-6, and 13-3. That's huge for Westchester with them being a first-year D1 team. They were very competitive, as everyone knows, World Series champs at the D2 level in 2024. Last year they made the World Series again, so we moved them up to D1. And Temple has been a formidable opponent in that North Atlantic West, whether it's been North Atlantic West or it's been the North Atlantic East in the past. Either way, they've been a team that goes to regionals and even to the World Series at times. So they're just a team that, is up there, and seeing Westchester, be able to play those couple extra innings, which people discount, the 9 inning game at D1, it's a lot more thinking than you're used to playing 3 sevens. Now you got to figure out 2 more innings of pitching, which it doesn't sound like a lot, but 2 innings is a lot, especially if those first two games don't go exactly how you're expecting.
Not to piggyback off what you said, I think it's a huge deal for Westchester, and they're going to come up multiple times throughout this show. Yeah, former D2 team, really had a lot of success down there. Obviously, winning it 2 years ago, and then having another strong coming up just short last year at the World Series. So, hats off to those guys. They're really transitioning well to the Division One level. I know they got a big roster. Um, you know, excited to see what they do in the spring too. See if it can carry over.
Yeah, it just brings a tear to my eye as a, former D2 player and coach myself, seeing these guys move up and bring success to the D1 level. That just shows that being D2, moving up to D1 doesn't always mean you're going to be at the bottom of the barrel. You can be at the top right away.
Yep.
Yeah, then we had a couple fall tournaments happen recently too, so I'd love to touch on those. We're going to start with the Greenville Fall Invitational, which I had the honor of running myself. It was a great event. We had 12 teams down there from all over. Clemson came and they were 45 minutes down the road all the way to UConn, who's had to hop on a plane to get down there. So it was awesome to get, teams from close and teams from far down there. Our final four ended up being Tennessee, who brought two teams. So both of their teams actually ended up advancing to Sunday, Clemson and Dayton. The interesting thing about our championship game was it was a rematch where we had Clemson play Tennessee, but it was actually Tennessee's opposite team. So they played Tennessee White, which what Tennessee did down there was instead of splitting up the team, the better players and the worst players, not maybe not worse is the word, but D1, D2. Tennessee kind of split theirs down the middle, where Clemson is a team that, made a D1 and has a D2 team now as well. So Clemson ended up, their D1 team ended up playing the Tennessee White team during pool play, ended up losing against that Tennessee White team on a walk-off, beat that team on Sunday. And then after beating them on Sunday, they had to play the Tennessee Black team, and that Tennessee Black team ended up losing to them 9-7 in the championship game. So they got their redemption, I'd say. Might not have been the same guys that they won that championship against, but Tennessee's Tennessee, and that's the same thing. I believe they played each other in the regional championship last year as well to advance to the World Series, which is Clemson beat them there. So Clemson taking down Tennessee, great games all around, and just was fun to watch. Clemson could really hit the baseball. They had one guy hit 3 home runs on the weekend, so I'm really interested to see if he, keeps that up.
Yeah, I think one of the more fascinating things is how teams approach these fall tournaments because everybody kind of does their own thing, whether they want to take 40 to 50 guys, because I mean they're not sanctioned events. So if you want to use it as like a tryout, you want to use it as get guys looks that don't usually play. You want to, split your teams up and kind of, have like an A and a B team, or maybe you have two teams where, Westchester, for instance, and Portland, which we'll talk about in a second here, they had like a draft. So they had their coaches literally draft two teams. So they were both, pretty even to an extent, as opposed to you do like a 1 and a 2 team. So you get a little bit of everything, which is kind of fun to see. Hats off to Clemson and Tennessee. as you were saying, because they split themselves apart and they still succeeded. They had a very successful weekend.
I want to be there for those practices after the tournament, after they drafted the teams, and just hear all the smack talk between the two teams. Like, those guys that were on the orange team and on the white team being like, "Yeah, we beat you," all that. I want to
Yeah,
hear that
no,
stuff.
it was fun in Westchester because you could tell like they had a little bit of I wouldn't call it like a rivalry because they all know each other, but they're all smack talking a little bit. They wanted to play each other. So it was kind of cool, at least in the Cortland sense. But
Right.
Yeah,
Tennessee
to
and
talk on Tennessee, it was the same thing. They did end up playing, they said they played each other like every Wednesday practice for the last 4 weeks. They split the teams up and did like an inter squad against each other. So they were very familiar with each other and just talked a whole bunch of crap to each other. Even when their games were being on at the same time, you could see them walking over and kind of ragging on them when they see someone making an error on the other team. It's like, see, that's why I didn't pick you, and just messing with the
yeah,
guys. It
Oh,
was
that's
real
great.
funny to see.
That's great.
So, Eric, like you were talking about Cortland, if you want to take the deeper dive into Cortland and go after that.
yeah, absolutely. So this is the first, I guess it's called the inaugural, right? The Cortland Fall Invitational. Um, Same facility we've used for our Division One and Division Two playoffs out there. Antonio knows it best; he's always out there running it. But yeah, it's a beautiful complex. It's the first year we've done it, and went really well. Hats off to the teams that cooperated with the weather as best as we could. It was a little rainy, it was freezing the entire time, but we had some great baseball. And yeah, I guess so. The easy way to put it: Final Four: Westchester, Millersville, Bryant, and Cortland. Westchester, like I was saying earlier, split their teams up. So hats off to those guys for getting their one team into the single elimination on Sunday. And Cortland actually lost to Westchester and got the wild card in the Sunday. And they ended up winning the event on Sunday. So hats off to the Cortland guys. They won. They defended their home turf, I guess is the best way to put it. They beat Millersville, who beat Bryant in the semi on the other side. So yeah, Cortland went 4-1 on the weekend. They beat Millersville 5-1 in the final. And yeah, it was all in all a great weekend of baseball.
How was the weather up there, Eric? It looked a little chilly at times.
It was a lot of chilly at times, and it was pretty wet. It wasn't the most ideal baseball conditions. But the one thing that, Antonio even mentioned to me before the weekend, I mean, these guys are used to it. It's New England area teams, it's New York area.
Hmm.
Not to say that made it any better, but, it wasn't as like shock value, it wasn't as crazy to them. But from somebody who's not really used to it, I was cold.
Right.
Yeah, speaking
Cold to say
from
the least.
experience of being up in Cortland, that's I feel like typical up there. Even the employees at the facility, I'm sure, were talking to you and they're like, "Yeah, this is how it is most of the time." And like I said, the New England guys really don't care. They embrace it. I know there was probably some of them being knuckleheads out there wanting to take their shirts off. I know Cortland
We
in
saw a little
general.
bit of that. Yeah, we had
I
some
know
guys playing without
Cortland's,
sleeves on, and guys, yeah, all the above. So
Bunch
yeah,
of
it's a beautiful
hearters.
facility, but like Antonio can speak to it too. It's in the I would say the middle of nowhere, but it's off the grid a little bit, so the wind just freaking hits you. There's
yeah.
nothing stopping the wind. So not only is it cold and wet, you're just getting wind, and it's just good baseball. So fun weekend.
There you go.
So, but yeah, we're looking forward to bringing that back next year because we had a 12-team event first year out, and we probably could have had it 16. So, looking forward to bringing that back next year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so following up on that, I know we're kind of wrapping up the fall season. So let's talk about, Eric, you being like I said, the guru of club baseball. Let's have you run through what happened this fall, just kind of some standouts that you're looking at and who you might be interested in come next spring.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'll apologize if I don't touch on every single, conference leader. I just made some quick notes that I'll run through real quick. Division One level, we'll start with the Great Lakes North. Wisconsin Lacrosse are defending. Well, I guess they're not really defending because they're not Division Two anymore, but they won our Division Two World Series last year. They're transitioning extremely well in Division One. They're now 4-2 in the North. They just took 2 or 3 from Wisconsin, who's very, very, predominantly very good each year out. So Wisconsin's right behind them at 6-3. But for lacrosse to be 4-2 and leading the conference heading into the spring says a lot. So hats off to those guys. Cincinnati in the Great Lakes South is 4-1. And there's 4 teams in the Great Lakes North all tied at the top of that conference. But all 3 of those conferences in the Great Lakes are 7 teams, and there's a lot of baseball to be played. So I expect a lot of changes once the spring comes around, but that's just kind of where they sit after the fall. Mid America North, I was sitting on top at 3-0. I made a note for probably my biggest storyline of that conference is South Dakota State is 4-2. They swept Iowa State, who won the conference last year, and Iowa State's a formidable, regional team every single year. So South Dakota State's kind of just been, I'd say, middle of the pack each year. So for them to sweep Iowa State speaks volumes. So, good for those guys. Moving on down, North Atlantic West. This is Antonio's territory here. St. Joe's, three-time defending champ Penn State, and Westchester, who we've talked about a bunch already, all sitting up top of that conference. They're all undefeated, so it'll be fun once they start playing each other in the spring to kind of get some clarity who's coming out of that. And then in OPAC East, usual suspects, Boise and Utah State sitting up top at 3-0. And, I'm sure that conference series will dictate a lot when the time comes.
Yeah, those two teams have been a wag in the last 4 or 5 years, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Boise and Utah State especially, two-time World Series champ. Boise State's usually the runner-up out of that conference, and both teams are usually moving on to the regional. So it's not, I wouldn't say surprising, but those two guys are always at the top when the time comes. D2, real quick, Indiana, Ohio State, both 5-1 in the New Penn West. Both obviously very good programs who've had a lot of success in the past. Maryland and Stevenson, both undefeated in Chesapeake South. The Northern Plains, Northern Iowa, 6-0. This is their first year in D2. They're a program that was in Division I last year, kind of struggled in Division I the last couple of years, and they kind of reset the batteries a little bit, if you will. Got a little maybe kick of excitement, and got a good thing going in Division II. So good for those guys. 6-0, leading that conference. Sacred Heart 5-1 in New England Central. Brockport 8-1 in New England West. But I did make a quick note that our series showcase. Hats off to Ryan Lancaster and Jacob in our office here, and they've done an awesome job kind of implementing this series showcase every week, which kind of highlights big series that are coming up. A lot of cool information, pictures, awesome stuff. Check it out on social media. But Syracuse 3-0 and Cortland 2-1, who, Cortland coming off the fall tournament victory, huge series. That's going to play a lot in terms of the standings when the time comes. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, just to touch on that.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, with that, Cortland's almost always at the top of that conference too, where now Brockport's 8-1. Cortland has the last couple of years not been as high on top of that conference, but they've been right there competitive. And I know with them, the same way with having that Cortland Fall Invitational right in their backyard, the regional's also in their backyard. So they end up, when they make it there, there's a good crowd. It makes that regional a lot of fun. That series should be extremely interesting, and I think it could go either way.
And Syracuse was at the fall event too, and they looked awesome. I think they came up just short at a pool play. Can't remember if it was a tiebreaker if they lost a game late, but I would expect that series to have a lot of fireworks and really play a big role in that conference when the time comes. But wrapping up Division III real quick. Sacred Heart 4-0, District 1 East. VCU 4-0 in District 2 Central. Robert Morris is 4-0 in the District 3 West. They're the returning World Series runner-up this past year, so they got a target on their back this year. And then Adrian is 4-0 in the District 4 East. This is their first year having a Division III team as well. They've been in Division I for, 5, 6, 7 years. They actually started as a Division III team way back when and won our World Series, and then they moved up to Division I. But this year is the first year having two teams. So the second year in Division III is also having success. So, hats off to those guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely. So, and that's gonna wrap up our NCBA, recap of the fall. We do have a guest caller, actually two guest callers, both from App State. One is Jackson Leatherman and Steele Lee. I'd love to get, them on and talk a little bit with them.
Here they come.
What's going on, gentlemen?
How we doing,
How we doing, guys?
Hey.
So let's just start. You guys tell me a little bit about yourselves. So how did you, join the team? How did you find the team? You two specifically.
Steele, you
Jackson,
want
you
to go
want to
ahead?
start us off?
Me? All right, I'll go. Let me think. This is my third year on the team now. I joined the team as a sophomore here. I joined my second year down here at App State. Originally I'm from Canada. I came down here to North Carolina App State for school. I played baseball like growing up all through high school back home, and then after I graduated high school, I played a year at a JUCO back home. Team was bad, I was worse, and I just like needed a break from baseball. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
came down here, saw the club team at the club expo my first fall down here, and decided not to go with it. I just needed a break from baseball. Took a year off baseball, and then the next year I signed up for the club team and have loved it ever since. Yeah, it's been awesome.
What part of Canada, Jackson?
I'm from Victoria, British Columbia, like just north of Seattle there. I'm on the
Okay,
West Coast. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
nice.
So with the World Series just wrapping up, I don't know if are you a Blue Jays guy or are you waiting from that West Coast, the Mariners guy?
Oh, it's interesting. So like my team is the Braves. My
Oh,
dad,
interesting.
yeah, my dad's from North Carolina, so he introduced me to the Braves as a kid. So I'm a Braves fan. And then during the CS, I was pulling for the Mariners because my boy back home, he's a big Mariners fan. I like sort of followed the Mariners the last couple weeks of the season, that big series against Houston and whatnot. But then in the World Series, I was all Jays. Dude, I felt empty Sunday morning, man. I didn't know what to do. I was lost.
Man, that's got to be tough, bro. And
Yeah.
Steele, what about you, man?
Yeah, so I'm from Kernersville, North Carolina. I've been playing baseball my entire life. Started playing when I was about 4 years old. Straight out of high school, I went to High Point University, played a year there, and ended up banging up my knee pretty bad. Broke my kneecap in half, so that was fun. But after that, I left there, came to App State, and I wasn't really planning on playing ball for the team here. I was kind of just going to take it easy, focus on my academics. And then I realized after the first semester, I can't live without baseball. Like I was itching at nighttime, just like, gosh, I got to play. So, funny story, as a matter of fact, I was going to the gym on campus, and I ran into my buddy Josh Jones. We played high school ball together. We played travel ball together growing up. And I was like, "What's up, dude? Like, are you like doing anything for baseball or anything?" And he was like, "Oh man, I heard about the club team." And I was like, "Well, I've kind of been looking into it a little bit." So we both reached out to the president last year, Grayson Tappy, great dude, and we showed up to a practice. And then after that, I just fell in love with it. I love all the guys. I love the atmosphere, and we do a bunch of cool stuff. So yeah, I joined second semester last year, which was my sophomore year. I'm currently a junior, and yeah, in my second year now, I'm club representative, and we got a good squad this year, so I'm excited.
How does one break their kneecap? Not that I didn't appreciate the rest of your story, but I just quick thought. How does
He's
one
still
break their
stuck on the
kneecap?
kneecap.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. So I'm a tall fella and I got long legs and I'm a pitcher. So coming down the mound, it's just tough. It was on my plant leg, as a matter of fact. So just coming down repetition over time, it just wore it down. And then I landed in kind of a funky spot. So I was throwing, as a matter of fact, it was coming out of my senior year right before I went to High Point, and I was doing like a little inter squad with Ethan Norby. He's over at ECU right now and he's tearing it up. But he's a lefty, so our plant spots were a little off. And I threw a pitch to the outside, and I landed in his spot a little bit, twisted my knee up, and then snapped it right
Oh,
there.
Jeez.
Oh man,
And I got one more quick one, then I'll defer to these guys because I know they got some stuff for you too. High
Yeah.
Point, obviously, beautiful field. App State, maybe one of the nicest fields I've ever seen.
Oh
Which
yeah.
is nicer?
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Honestly, no knock on HPU whatsoever, but I love Apps Field. I love it. With the
Yeah,
trees in the
it is nice. Yeah,
background and then the big stadium behind it
yeah,
and
that
stuff
view
like that.
is
It's
something
cool.
else.
and y'all
yeah,
go
can't beat it.
viral at least once a year with that field. They just show photos of it during the fall, and it's incredible.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you
we're
alluded to, the season, the team looks good. How did the fall go, and what's your guys' kind of outlook for the spring?
So I can jump in a little bit. We're still in the fall season a little bit. We've played a couple series. We actually have a series this weekend, and as of right now, we're undefeated, which is good, which is real
There you
good.
go.
But we got a bunch of new guys and a bunch of good ball players. So we got guys that can fill in positions all over the field. If a guy plays shortstop, he can play second base. He can also play the outfield. He can also throw it a little bit if we need him to. So we have a bunch of versatile guys and a lot of guys that love the game. So we have a good squad, a lot of good chemistry, and it's going to be looking good coming springtime.
All right, so
yeah,
you're from
to
British Columbia, Jackson.
yeah,
Real quick,
yeah,
I
go
gotta ask
ahead.
you guys. Is there anyone else that's kind of just from a place that we wouldn't expect? Like, what's the most random spot one of your teammates is from?
Hard to beat in Canada, I bet.
Yeah, I'm gonna have that one locked down. I don't know. Here at App, there's like a bunch of like majority of guys are from North Carolina, Raleigh or Charlotte. We
Sure.
got we got at least one guy from Virginia, a couple from Florida, at least one from Florida. Um, I can't think of anyone. Oh, there's a guy from New York, a guy from New York City. I'm pretty sure on the team.
Nice.
That's about all I know though.
So you
Mainly
got that
like
on lock with Canada then.
Canada's
yeah. We got
definitely the
You,
winner.
you would have to pull
represent
some
the
like New
national
Zealand
diversity
out
over
or something
here.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, guys, we have this new topic that we're introducing with this being the new podcast. That's called Three Strikes Are Out. So, we got a wheel. We're going to spin this wheel, whatever it lands on. I'll tell you what the topic is. And Steele and Jackson, you could both answer if you want to defer to one or the other. One or the two, you guys could have an option. So, Justin, if you could get that wheel up, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, let's go ahead
All right,
and
let's
pull
do
that up here. We'll spin it right here. Strike one.
Oh
So,
wow,
it's
that's a good one to
called
start.
Degenerate Activities. So, what we kind of want to know is what you guys do on a, Saturday night after you guys, I know you guys played ball on Saturday afternoon. What's the fun stuff that you guys do on a Saturday night after a big conference series?
I'll uh I'll let you know the at home it's not like home games aren't you don't get as crazy because like everyone just goes back to their place so it's actually a little harder to get together but my like honestly my favorite thing about club balls is like the away series on the weekend
Yeah.
Friday Saturday night in the hotel like hey you come off a Saturday get two on a Saturday maybe a split on a Saturday and you get back to the hotel you swing by the gas station, get a few cases of beer, and then I don't
Yes,
know,
sir.
you just like hang out with the boys, crack a few cold ones in the hotel room. With certain contingent might take a little walk outside there, and I don't know, man. You
Just to
just
appreciate the
Just to
weather, right?
appreciate the
yeah, yeah,
weather
yeah,
that
yeah,
day,
yeah. Appreciate the weather.
the scenery.
See the town a bit, get to know the place you're at, and
Yeah, I know all three of us were former club players. I know me and my boys, we would always, away series was where it was at. We
yeah,
would
yeah.
go party, we'd want to win. We're there to win baseball. But once you take those two games on Saturday, especially, everyone's vibes are high.
Oh,
You're going,
I,
you're
can
going
I put you
insane.
guys on the spot real quick? Thinking about your guys' conference. I'm looking at it real quick just so I don't miss anybody. You got UNC, Elon, UNC Charlotte, East Carolina, High Point, NC State. Which has got the best campus or like the best? I don't call it nightlife, but like the one that you're most excited to go play the road trip at.
Ooh, one that sticks out to me is ECU for sure.
Yeah, I
ECU
figured
for
everybody's
sure.
gonna say
That's
Greenville.
always a good
I, I,
time. Good
I'm
time.
gonna go against that. Last year, when we played at State, we got an Airbnb in like downtown Raleigh, and that was like my
Yeah.
my favorite
hell yeah.
weekend in my club ball career. That was awesome. We had like eight, I don't know, 20 guys or whatever in this like
Yeah, that
16
sounds sick.
bedroom house. There's some guys sleep on the couches and stuff, finding a spot to sleep. But no, it was a lot of fun. That's the best part is when you can just get like the whole team in one spot, and that's really what makes club ball. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
those are
Yeah.
the memories that you're gonna remember forever. Those are the guys you're
Now,
gonna be talking to in years. And you remember that time we went to Greenville and played ECU and win or lose, we had a great time. Yeah, great stories,
now
great
I've
memories
I've
for
had a
sure.
theory. I've had a theory over the years, both as a player and then coaching club ball, that the Sunday team always plays better because they're hungover. Have you guys find that? Are you guys a better Sunday hungover team than you are Saturday sober?
I don't know about that one. We have not performed the best on Sundays in the recent history, but we're looking to change that this year. And so this fall we've been dialing on Sunday so far. So we'll try to keep
All
that
right.
rolling through the spring.
Don't get me wrong. We still have a good time at the field, though, and we still leave it out there. We're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
down there just
Good save. Yeah.
Got to get rid of those
lollygagging.
Sunday
We're,
scaries.
we're hanging.
All right, let's go to strike two here, fellas. Here we go. All right, this is called
Uh,
flip the script. So basically, you guys think of any question you want and ask us it.
I
Depending on
got
the
a
question will
question.
be depending on the person that we make answer.
I got a question. I don't know how much y'all know about this, but something I was like when I first joined club ball, something I was really surprised about was like the sort of like how well organized it was, and like national rankings coming every week and stuff. And like I guess my question is, I don't know a bunch about it, but like how did sort of club ball start here in the States? How did like when did the NCBA come to be, and how did that start happening? Do y'all know much about that?
I would
Mr.
say
Eric.
Eric's going to be your best
Yeah, I'm the old
to
guy here. I'll take
kind
it.
of give that. He's been
So yeah, I
here
mean,
for a while.
club baseball's been around for, I mean, decades, a long time. They were around in colleges back in the 1900s, all the way up. It's been a thing. I can speak on the NCBA way better, just in that our boss Sandy Sanderson was a Penn State graduate. They were playing club ball there. There's schools around his area that had other club baseball programs as well, and they were just kind of playing for fun. Penn State would go down to Maryland and play a weekend. They'd go to Ohio State and play. There was just nothing formal about it. There was no league or anything. So once he graduated, he started the NCBA in 2000, and the first year was 34 teams. Fast forward 25 years, we're at 296, 297, something like that. So it's come a long way. We've got 3 divisions now. Almost 300 schools. So that's long story short. I guess that's the how the NCBA came about.
It's crazy how far it's come to, Eric, because like I remember back home in Montana, we had an alumni day, and we had dudes from like the '70s team. It was
Yeah.
like right after the school cut it as a varsity program, and they started as a club, and they would travel around, and they'd be sleeping in like high school gym floors. They had just the slum of the slums essentially when it came to traveling and how they got around. But it's amazing how far this league has come.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what these guys were speaking to earlier. The fun is you go to other campuses, you go play baseball with the guys, and you go out with those guys at night. You go, you're meeting new people, you're playing ball, you're still continuing, your baseball dreams. And now it's just come such a long way where we got an organized league, and it just makes it even better. So.
Definitely.
I got a question. It's kind of a broad question, kind of for all you guys, because y'all are former club guys as well. What's y'all's most memorable moment in club baseball?
I could start if that works. I kind of have a tie between two. Funny enough, I believe it was 2019. We made it to regionals. Eric actually was my regional director that year.
Yeah.
So getting our first regional win as a club team in our club's history was awesome. It was at Purcellville, Virginia at Fireman's Field. And then my second one is kind of like an individual one. It was my senior year. It was right post COVID because I graduated 21. We didn't join the NCBA, but we played a couple non-conference games, played a game against Newman, pitched 9 complete innings. The first 8 were shutout, and then the ninth inning I allowed 2 runs, probably threw 130 pitches, and called it a career after that.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, it'd probably be it was my second year of club ball, so my junior year. We were playing at Western Washington, and I was starting on the mound, and I went like walk, error, walk, walk. And I shared a look with my coach at the time, and I said, if I walk another guy, essentially, it was like the look was like, if I walk another guy, come get me. Like I don't got it. And then I went strikeout, 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 and they didn't score for like the rest of the outing I had. And I finally get pulled in the seventh, and I walk to the dugout, and the kid keeping our game changer goes, "You realize you retired 17 in a row, right?" And I was like, "What?" And we still lost the game 4-3, all because of that bad first inning.
Heck
That's
yeah.
club
Oh,
ball. If that's not club baseball, I don't know what is.
that sums it up pretty good.
Totally,
Yeah,
totally.
I would say mine's more on the admin side. 2017 World Series we had in Holly Springs, North Carolina, which is not too far from you guys, where the Holly Springs Salamanders play, Coastal Plains League. One of the nicest places you'll ever see, fully turf, huge stadium, it's nice. But anyway, so the championship game was UCF and East Carolina. Tanner Duncan for East Carolina was pitching for ECU, who ended up getting drafted and playing the minors. Awesome pitcher, threw all 10 innings in a 1-0 game. It was maybe one of the coolest atmospheres I've ever been around. It was just everybody was into it, huge crowd. I was anxious the whole time watching, and I didn't even care who won. I can only imagine playing it. It was just a lot of fun. So it always sticks out to me.
That's awesome.
All right, let's move on to strike. Oh, we can't do that
We can't do
again.
that again.
What are the odds? All right, so this is Little League versus the show. So what's the worst club ball field y'all have played on, and what's the best?
Oh boy.
I
Oh
mean,
goodness.
I think the best is pretty obvious. I think being able to play on App State's varsity field that's the best. That's
Is
the
there
best
is there
field
a
I've
runner
played
up to
on.
that?
for sure.
Runner up to that. Let me think.
Runner
You
up.
got you got anything there, Steele? Other than app field?
I'm trying to think, man.
I feel like the runner-up's got to be a distant runner-up though, because there is
Yeah,
not
for
much
sure.
that.
I was just trying to make it
Yeah,
more fun.
our field's gorgeous. It's
I'd
hard to
say
beat.
ECU. When we played at ECU last year, that's a nice field. That was a
Hey,
good
That's
Guy
what I
field.
had
Smith,
in my
right?
mind as well. ECU's field was pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie. It was what was it? Was it in a minor league park or?
It's that Guy Smith, I believe. It's natural grass, but there's like a stadium feel to it. It's
Yeah.
That was fun
yeah,
to
it's
play.
really yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good field.
And the worst.
The
Oh,
worst.
we a couple years ago we played at UNC Wilmington, and it was a bit of a disaster trying to get a field. We pull up to the first field, and it's like old like Legion Field, and there's like no mound out there or something. Anyway, we couldn't play there, and then we they like find a second field like last minute, and it's this tiny field. The fence must have been like 270 all the way around, and it was like nearly a little league field down in Wilmington. It's sort of cool spot. It was like in a neighborhood. Wasn't bad, but I just remember it was a really small field and like no bullpen to warm up. I was just like warming up outside the fence there. Former President Grayson Tappy went yard that game, and like I think it might have been his only career home run. He like somehow knocked one out opposite field, and but this is the same guy who's been thrown out from right field. So. That's saying something there. But no, that field was definitely something. But I don't know. But the thing with club ball is though, is like you're not gonna play on the best field all the time, but like you make do. And what I find really impressive is it's almost always just like a bunch of students who like got classes, got
Yeah.
jobs, got baseball, who are figuring these things out. And I find that really impressive. That like even if it's not the best, you can still get some balls and some umpires out there and two teams and get 7 to 9 innings in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sounds like the mission statement for the NCBA right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said.
But thanks, guys. Well, last thing we want to let you guys do now that we got those three strikes out of there is just plug your program. Plug your social media, what you guys got coming up. Shout out, how do you find App State Club Baseball, things like that.
Yeah, so we have an Instagram profile. It's just App State Club Baseball. That's the best way to keep up to date with all of our stuff. We post our schedule. We post our game day like lineups and stuff. So that's the best way to stay in tap. Do we got anything else, Leatherman?
There might be like an engage page through like the club sports here, but I don't know. If you're at App State, just at like App State Club Baseball, the Instagram is the best place to get in touch, and then you can just message that account, and we can get in touch with you there. I think that's the best way to do it. Yeah. And then if you're new or something, at the start of the semester, come out to the Club Expo, and we'll be there. So yeah,
Yep, man.
that's what I
If
gotta
you are
say.
curious, I know it might be a little hard to see. Oh gosh, my phone's bugging. Hold on. Hold on. I don't know how to do that. But yeah, it's literally App State Club Baseball all in one. It's pretty easy to find.
Yep.
Hell
As
yeah.
long as you
Well, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming to chat with us, and good luck the rest of this year.
Yeah, best of luck, guys.
Sure.
Thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks for having us on. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Is your team looking for the perfect spot to play this spring? Look no further than Swing into Spring in beautiful Panama City Beach, Florida. Imagine warm sunshine, fresh ocean air, and the crack of the bat just minutes from the beach. This unforgettable experience will have you coming back for more season after season. Don't miss out on playing the game you love in a setting you'll never forget. Contact Antonio Sacca today to learn more.
Okay.
The Mountaineers. Are they Mountaineers? Right? I just make
Yeah,
that
the
up.
Mountaineers.
Mountaineers. Yeah.
Cool dudes.
Yeah,
Real
that
good
was
answers, and
fun.
I like the questions they asked us too. I think that flipped the script that we got. That was pretty cool.
That was cool.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was a thing. Caught me off guard.
Added a couple things to the wheel on you. Sorry.
No, it's all good. Spot
But,
in 80. It's good.
just to kind of wrap up this show, we're gonna go do some housekeeping items. Swing of the Spring, both PCB and Henderson are both open. For Swing of the Spring PCB, you're gonna want to reach out to me, Antonio Sacca. For PCB and Henderson, you're gonna want to reach out to Justyn Martinko. On the PCB side, we are at 41 teams. There still is time to sign up as we finish registration on December 15th. And then I know in Henderson, you guys just opened up registration. You're at what, 10 teams now?
10, I believe, right now. Yep, and I got a couple more in the works. So we're getting there. Spots are filling up fast.
Definitely. And I think you guys will probably run registration a little bit longer than that December 15th date, since we started our registration so much earlier than you, and you guys just got it out. So just keep on the lookout for Swing into Spring stuff. For your dues, make sure that you if you want to get that $100 discount, those dues are discounted by $100 up until December 1st. On December 1st, you will receive a new dues invoice for the extra $100 that are not discounted.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's the easiest way to save money. There's a fundraiser in itself. Pay your dues early, you save $100. So,
Yep.
Yeah, that's the big thing. And the other two things I wanted to touch on real quick: Ryan Lancaster, our newest promotion in the office here, the front office, hired back early this spring. Been with us ever since then. Obviously, kind of been the assistant director of operations for the NCBA. So an awesome job with helping anything and everything. He's been running multiple regions. He's been helping out with planning events, doing a great job. So this past week, we officially announced him as the new Division II director. So he'll be the guy moving forward on that front. So congrats, Mr. Lancaster. And then the last thing is the marketing discounts. Rawlings, Easton, and the Game. They both get big discounts through November 30th. I believe Rawlings is 45% off, and the Game is $2 a hat you can save. So there's another good fundraiser. Save some money. Order your hats early, and not only that, you're going to get that stuff in early anyways, just to help with lead times and whatnot. So you're good for the spring. So I believe that is all I have on the housekeeping items.
Yep. So we got a couple more things that we want to do. The first thing is our who's on deck. So to decide who our next guest is, we have a wheel with every single NCBA team, Division I, Division II, Division III. We're going to spin that wheel, and whoever it lands on, we'll be reaching out to you guys to be our next guest on the show. So if Justyn, you could get that wheel up, let's do it.
This is going to be spicy. This could be good or bad.
That's why we do it, that wheel.
All right, here we go. So the next guest that we will be reaching out to and hopefully seeing on Bullpen Banter is USF, University of South Florida. You are on deck.
The Bulls.
So we'll definitely reach out to you guys within the next couple weeks. Make sure we know, hey, USF, you guys are on. We're going to have you do the same thing that App State did, and hopefully, have some fun with you guys as well. Well, without further ado, I appreciate everyone, tuning in to Bullpen Banter. And don't forget, it's a game. Have fun.
And let's go clubbing.
I'm on my prime, I'm feeling like Steph. Waited too long, but I told him I'm next. I need my bag, just want me to check. Cable was mine, I ain't taking less.
Dingers, bombs, taters, nukes, icon.